Welcome to this edition of Table Topics RE. I'm Stacy Harmon.
I'm Bob Watson.
I'm Scott Shang.
This is your post-SMMOC recap. We're going to talk to you about our discussions today and how they best relate to the real estate industry as best we can. We had a lot of great content today, and we started off with a discussion about email signatures and the importance of those in the business and some of the variables that really impact how detailed your email signature should be. And you know, one of the things is this can really be like an extension of your business card in your email signature, but you know, do you include a photo? Do you include links? You know, are those good things to include? Because ideally we want to promote ourselves, right? But is the technology really supporting it? And there were a lot of great pros and cons that were brought up. One that I thought you mentioned is really annoying, actually, is when you're trying to send contracts, real estate contracts with a lot of attachments, and somebody sends through an email signature that's got a Facebook icon and a Twitter icon and a YouTube link and all of these kinds of things.
And they all show up on the email as all these links, and you have to sort through the links to figure out where the PDF is.
Or they get attached as attachments, like because your email client doesn't register the image. It kicks it over to an image, so that is frustrating. And so something to consider when you're sending emails with a lot of attachments is, are you including a lot of images? Because there are a lot of email clients that are translating that not as displaying in the email, but kicking it up to an attachment.
Most mobile devices will show it as an attachment, whether it shows it or not.
Which was another key consideration. Is your email signature being viewed on a mobile device, and how many people are looking at your email from their mobile device?
Right.
Lots.
And mobile is taking over desktop, right?
That seems to be a trend for sure. So keeping in mind a simple email signature, you came up with 3 best practices. Do you want to go through what those were? I think they're right here on the board.
They're right there
actually.
on the board.
So a takeaway was keep it for mobile with a maximum of 275 pixel width if you're going to include an image.
I did one ideal point of contact. So if somebody's on a mobile phone and you have one point of contact on there, would you want them to call you back? Do you want them to text you? Do you want them to email you? Put that on there.
And there was an actual great detail point brought up by Ted Mackel, a realtor in Simi Valley. He came and joined us today and said he actually puts the word sell/text on his signature. And we thought, as you said, why is that important?
Because you're giving permission for people to text you.
Yeah, and so it's a really subtle way for people to know that it's okay for them to text you, and you might actually encourage some communication. So that was a nice little detail.
And for those of you out in TV land, sell meant C-E-L-L, not S-E-L-L.
Yeah. And then mobile friendly, I think we covered that. So those were kind of some of the takeaways that we thought were important. And you might want to reevaluate your email signature and how many links you have in it, because that's the other point too. You could be getting kicked into the spam filter if you have too many links in your email signature. So simplify.
And Kathy Klingeman mentioned that a lot of people still have their old iPhone, if they have an iPhone, signature on there sent from my iPhone and not a signature line at all with their contact information. So change that up.
Absolutely. Again, a reminder that mobile is very important. Look at the email signature line in your phone as well.
Yep.
Okay. Next topic is we talked about kind of what are the underlying productivity tools that are really impacting business today. And we weren't talking about necessarily social media channels. We were trying to say what are the new things that have come along that are very important to business today. And it wasn't so much about them being developed in the last 3 years as if they've kind of come of age. I kind of thought that, you know, some of these tools have been around a while, but the functionality is so much better. So we had several of them on the list here, and maybe we could discuss them. You're an Evernote user?
I'm an Evernote, and you know, I think that was the top of your list. It wasn't the top of our list, but Evernote is really the premier app that everybody was talking about. And so not only today, but yesterday at the Explode conference in Chicago.
Okay, and so why is that? What is Evernote for the audience that's not familiar with it?
So Evernote is, you know what, that's a good question. I just use it as a platform where I can sync all of my information across all of the technology that I have. So I have an iPhone, I have a laptop, and I've got an iPad. And when I use Evernote as a document storage facility, I can take notes in it, I can record meetings in it, and as soon as I hit the sync button, it syncs across all of the technology that I have. So when I have my iPad during the day and I'm doing meetings, I don't carry my laptop around anymore. I have everything that is on my laptop in Evernote on my iPad.
Well, and you brought up a great point about being on the airplane with your iPad too, and what Evernote allowed for you.
Right, and that was one of the issues. It goes from the free app of Evernote and the premium app. Now, the premium app is only, I think, $45 a year, but it allows you to download folders onto your device.
Your local device.
Your local device. So when you're on an airplane, and if you're flying United like I do, and they don't have Wi-Fi, hey United, get Wi-Fi. I actually have access to all those documents and recordings for those files that I've selected. And for $45 a year, that's not a big expense.
No, it makes you far more productive. That time on the plane, you were able to review your files and keep up with what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Bill was talking about, he took a snapshot of our Twitter board with all the Twitter handles, and the premium version will actually allows it's character recognition. So it could recognize it as characters, and it automatically creates tags. So you can take pictures of things and it can read it and store it, and so you can.
Very sophisticated tool to really check out, and it starts
Yeah.
with a free version. I'm still on the free version, and I'm
So-
finding it immensely useful, but I'm definitely considering upgrading. But either way, we advocate you check it out. It seemed to be quite popular with many of the people in the room.
And I'll tell you, one of the reasons I went with premium was because when Kathy's out showing properties to our clients, we'll download all the buyer pages from the MLS that we're going to show properties to into Evernote, and then have that resident on the iPad. So when Kathy gives the iPad to our client, the client just opens up that folder with all of the buyer notes on it, the MLS sheets, and they can scroll through as they're walking through the property. Now, if it's not resident on there, if we weren't a premium pay on Evernote, we'd have to have access to the Wi-Fi to get that down. So it really helps us from a client acquisition and a client service standpoint.
Great tip, great tip. Okay, and you're a fan of two of the other tools that came up, Google Docs and Dropbox. Do you want to tell why you think those are important, why the group felt those were important?
Sure. I mean, those are. This goes back to cloud computing or cloud storage. Google Docs is more cloud computing, and it basically gives you access to Word. It's not Word, but it's a word processor. Excel site type of spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentations, all of that kind of thing that's in the cloud, so you can access it basically anywhere. You can collaborate with groups of people on it. I know a lot of like for running offices, like real estate offices, if you have documents or best practices or things like that. I know that people keep those on Google Docs, so you can always go up and update it, either policies or best practices or marketing materials.
The collaboration tools are outstanding.
Collaboration tools are outstanding, and then Dropbox is really just storage. So Dropbox allows you to have so much free, and then if you invite other people, you can get free storage. I'm still on the free version. I'm up to like 4 gig. And you can put anything there and share it with anybody. So it's a great way to put really heavy files or big files out on the internet that anybody can access from any mobile device or desktop.
Okay.
And the cool thing about Dropbox, and I've noticed, is as soon as you invite somebody to share your Dropbox file, if they sign on, you get a little bit more memory for free.
If it's the first time, if they are not already signed up with Dropbox, you get like 500 meg free storage for every person you sign up.
So that's kind of cool.
And that'll go up to, I think it's like 8 or 10 gig. They'll let you get for free. So yeah, it's a really cool business model. Really stable platform. I've been using it for a couple of years. I love it.
But yeah, let's talk about gigabytes for a minute. 8 or 10 gigabytes of storage, is that a lot?
It is for documents. I mean, if you're going to put movies up there, it's going to be 8 movies.
Okay.
8 to 10 movies.
Right.
You're not going to want to put a lot of super heavy media, at least on the free stuff. But I put PowerPoint presentations. I put marketing materials, marketing flyers that people can just have access to and go in and edit and put their name on it. And that's simple. I just give them access to it. And if I add something to that, everybody that shares that folder gets an email that says this has been added to this folder.
So the free versus paid debate
Space.
is space.
On Dropbox.
Okay. All right.
And then that's a topic we can get to. I just want to run through a couple of the other productivity tools. We won't discuss them all, but people liked their smartphone, no doubt about it. They couldn't go on without it. They liked You Send It or We Transfer, both file transfer services for large files. Dragon Voice also got a shout out as very important, taking text and talking
Everybody's
and
talking
convert it.
about that.
Everybody's talking, and then they
Dragon
can
dictation.
Dragon dictation, and so it converts what you're saying into a written form. And then Chrome as a browser came up as something that people were very pleased with as well.
Okay.
And I'm a new default Chrome user myself, so I support that. What was interesting to me is that the common theme amongst all of these productivity tools is really data portability and cloud computing. So the things that are allowing people to access their information and communicate clearly with teams across places and locations and devices are what are winning and really transforming how people are doing business. So some to look at, we'll link to all of them in the bottom.
Yeah, that's a really key point. I don't know if you know you made that point, is it's all about teams. It's about collaboration in teams. And we may be single person entrepreneurs, but eventually we have to collaborate with somebody, whether it's somebody creating a brochure, creating something for us, and it becomes part of your team. So all this cloud computing really is important as we move forward, even for entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. Quick
Solo
shout out
players.
for a new app alert. We are still checking it out, but Photovine is a Instagram competitor that Google just launched this week.
Yeah.
So I downloaded it from the App Store. I'm going to take a look at that. Photovine, we'll put a link in it as well. And we had a discussion about QR codes versus NFC.
Oh.
So maybe Bob can recap that in 30 seconds or less
Or
for us.
in another episode.
Or another episode.
Yeah,
We can-
okay. So the bottom line with the QR code issue is that, look, QR codes are relatively new in the United States, and if you take the QR code debate to Japan, Asia, anywhere in Asia, or Korea, and you have the same debate that people are having here when they're poo-pooing the QR codes, you're going to hear a completely different story over in Asia. So they're very popular there, they use them every day, and they continue to use them. So people that are fighting the use of QR codes, either in the real estate business or any other business, don't fight it, join it. And I'll tell you, they're using it at conferences right now. The fact that a QR code could actually be in front of a house, and then there's the debate, oh, well, somebody might have to get out of their car. Okay, well, they might have to get out of their car to pick up a brochure in a brochure box, too. So it just automates the business, but the most important point is, and I think Bill Loveland made the point, is it's a differentiator. If nobody gets out of their car to scan the QR code in front of the house, it actually says, hey, you know what? That realtor knows what he's doing because he's got some technology out in front that's on a board.
And we talk a lot about the importance of being perceived as tech savvy and progressive in the real estate space, and QR codes are a really easy way to implement that, for sure. So I think we've probably exceeded our time limit on this episode, so we'll wrap it up, but thank you for watching. Until our next episode, we'll see you then.
Use a QR code.
Or not.